Hey guys, welcome back to Buddy RC. I'm Clay, and today we're going to be talking about the MK15 setup on the ZMO. So before I power it up here, I'm going to give you guys a little disclaimer. This is not really a setup video. This is just showing you the modes that we have pre-set up. So if you buy this setup, this is the setup you will get. If you want anything more, you will have to do it yourself at your own risk. But the things that I'm showing you today are what we have pre-programmed into there, and I'll kind of explain the modes as well. So let's jump into it. So I'll actually show you guys the OSD on the screen here to kind of give you an idea of what to look for on here. So all warnings and things like that is going to be on the top middle of it. It'll be in red if there's a problem, like it's been yelling at me because I don't have compass set up. Because again, this is a customer drone, so this is one that is out of the box. You have to calibrate the compass, which we'll jump into here in a minute, which you need to do before you fly this setup. No matter where you're at, you will need to calibrate the compass. I don't calibrate them here. We just set up the radio and set up the drone, make sure everything works from there. So the different modes that we have are going to be, the first one is the one you need to do first. So what you'll do is on the center here, there is a little slider. You'll slide that to the right, and it will come up on the top. It will say compass calibration start, I believe. You will take the drone this way, and you will go in a circle like this and try to keep it as straight up and down as you possibly can. Same this way, try to keep it as straight as possible, and you'll go in a circle and you'll stop. And then I go like this as well, and I try to do it as nice and neat as possible. It's kind of hard to, but then put it right back down on the flat surface and flip that switch back over, and you're good to go. All right, so after we got our compass calibration done, what you're gonna do is we'll power up the drone, of course, and I'm not gonna power it up in here because we don't have compass or anything like that, so it will be yelling at me the whole time that I don't have compass or GPS. But the modes as follows here. So this is gonna be your return to home. So if you're in trouble, you can flip that. This also doubles as a arming switch. Now it's not an arming switch, so in the sense of as soon as you flip that, the blades are spinning. What happens is basically you will be able to arm it like this. So you have to press down and to the right to get the blades spinning. After that, you can take off. Now, to take off, you do need to be in one of the drone modes. You cannot take off in fly-by-wire mode. So I like Q loiter because that gets your GPS signal for while you're flying. So as soon as you take off, you can flip over to Q stabilize or fly-by-wire A, however you want to do it. But center on this switch right here is going to be your Q loiter. Q loiter has your GPS and barometer in it, so it will hold your altitude and it will also hold your GPS lock. When you have it in Q stabilize, it is basically just a tricopter at that point. So there's no stabilization as far as GPS and your barometer as well. So after you take off in Q loiter mode and you want to transition into a plane, you need to go up, I think it's like 30 meters, and then flip this switch. Give it some time, and don't freak out. It'll just let it do its thing. I always say point it somewhere where you have about 5 to 6 seconds of forward flight and there's nothing impeding it. So I normally go pretty high up just in case anything happens, because we've been pretty low before. The actual, I think it's like 5 seconds is what it actually takes to go into plane mode. If you don't want it to just go straight into plane mode and take off, it will not be too happy about that. So these have to slowly move down and then go forward. So the other thing for it is your setup as far as your other modes that we have is this right here. The C is going to be your cruise mode. Now cruise mode is kind of neat. So you have to be in fly-by-wire and already flying to have it like this. But basically you just hit cruise. And what that does is you lose your elevator and you lose your throttle. It will hold that altitude and you you just control it with your ailerons and rudder. So you can turn and it will stay on that altitude. So if you need to stay at 100 meters, put it at 100 meters and flick cruise, and it will stay at 100 meters. You can't go up or down, and it won't lose altitude, won't gain any. So that's kind of a neat mode. And then there is a mode on here I don't recommend using, and I will repeat, I do not recommend using this. But this is, it's nice to have in case of, if you wanted to eventually try this, it's going to be this mode right here, and D. D means don't. I'm just kidding. But so it is manual mode. So while you're flying in forward flight, if you have never flown a regular RC plane, do not flip this mode. You will have a bad time. It gets rid of all the self-leveling that FBWA has, which is fly-by-wire A. So it will be able to roll. This thing is fast. So if you know what you're doing, by all means, go for it. That's fine. If you've never really flown a really fast plane, then don't flip it, please. That is a mode I will show you how to enable it, but do not do it unless you know what you're doing. So I'm going to show you at least how to enable it. From the factory, I will not have this enabled. This is I call it a safety feature. If you have that, it's fine. As far as trimming and things like that, you have to be in manual. If you ever have a problem where you need to trim one of the wings or the tail, say if you wrecked it or something and you had to replace the wing, you will have to trim it again. So you'll have to go into manual mode to do that. But I'm going to at least show you guys how to put it back on there. It's super simple. Basically, there is this screen right here, SIYA, I think is SIYA, something like that. It's right on your home screen. It's the blue one right here in the center. Click that, and it'll come up. Normally, it will look like this. It'll have a channel. Channel will be the first one. So click on channel, and then you're going to scroll down to channel 11, and it'll look like this. It will have nothing on it. I'm gonna try to zoom in on that a little bit so you can see. Channel 11 though will have nothing on it, and that's because I don't want it to be out of the box. Somebody accidentally hit it and then they're flying, they're like, holy crap, I can't fly this. If you want to enable it, channel 11, hit D, and now you're good to go. Now your manual mode will work. But again, out of the box, it will not work. So out of the box, you will literally have your regular drone mode, your Q loiter, which is going to have drone mode with GPS and barometer, your fly-by-wire A, which is just a plane with about 60 degrees of bank angle, so it'll turn about this quick. It works really well. I've flown it a few times. Like that, and it's actually not bad. It's nice because you don't really have to pay attention to the plane as much while you're flying FPV. And then, like I said, you have your cruise. So that's if you're in the fly-by-wire A and you're like, okay, I want to stay at this altitude. I don't really have to mess with this or, the throttle. I just want to go ahead, hit it, and it's almost like cruise control. Then if you are done with everything and you're like, oh, I need to come back home, I can't really see it, flick the return to home and it will come back and land right where it took off from. So if you guys want to add anything else to this setup, any other modes, do it at your own risk. I personally think that this is a great beginner setup. You have your FPV on it. If you want to do missions and things like that, you will need to set that up. I didn't want to really complicate too many things on this setup. So with that being said, guys, again, if you have any questions, hit us up. This is going to be the ready to fly version with the MK15, and it already has everything pre-installed, so you literally will never have to hook this up to a computer, and you just go fly. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna go fly.